Gray, just broke through to 7B indoor bouldering and I'm trying to avoid getting too psyched and getting injured. Is it possible to build more capacity without fully switching to a phased schedule? Of course, absolutely. I mean, Gray, really what you need to do is you just straight up take the sub-maximal climbing. I would bring down, from your top end, bring it down about 30%. So like if you're talking about like a 10 RP is the hardest thing you do, 9 or 10, bring it down to a 6 or 7 and just add 5 to 10% every week and feel it. If you're feeling like, I'm feeling great, I'm adapting, great. You can maybe test out 10%. If it's taking a little slower, you're not able to fully recover between days, do that same week again or add 5%. Shaolin is the coolest V17, changed my mind. Oh man. Adam, that's a great call. If I had to pick one, might be Shaolin. Yeah, I don't know. None of them are really like, whoa, I mean, Alphane to me is the coolest one. The movement is just so sick on that thing. It's just not as dynamic as I'd want to. Mount Doom, I think that's the other one. That's Nikolai Uznik's. That one looks sick. I mean, that just so dope. But you know what else looks so sick? Big Slam. That looks so cool. But nobody's repeated it. I think it's just Elias. I forget what his name is. Okay. We got, oh man, I've got poor connection with my Instagram. Okay, Deadpool. Hey, my question would be in regards to capacity phase. What is the finger training protocol related max strength or more endurance before or after sessions? Is the boulders you do gym climbs or moonboard V4s? For reference, I would say I limit moonboard V6. Okay, guys, fantastic question here. Love this, dude. So in the capacity phase, we're building resilience first to go through the full year. Now, I want to say this up front so that everyone hears it. This is the most important thing to keep in mind with the capacity phase. We are building capacity, not only to do more climbing and be able to, but to handle harder training. Now, in the capacity phase, that is, in every year you ever do, the phase where you will realize the least amount of noticeable improvements to your top end potential. So in a capacity phase, it's gonna, right now my job as the person that's leading the bouldering progression formula is to keep people in the plan for the first 2 months. Because people are going to say, dude, I'm feeling tired. My top end is actually coming down. I'm feeling like I'm really, I've had a couple sessions now where I don't have that snap and that drive. And yeah, totally, you shouldn't. You're building capacity. You're intentionally adding fatigue so that your body can make the adaptation to handle more so it's not fatigued in the future. But what you're not doing is sending max intensity signals. You're not sending high neurological signals to summon more power, better contact strength. So you will literally feel like your max strength and your max power is coming down. You will feel that, okay? If you don't, great, but you're unique, because many people, everyone I work with tells me, I feel like I'm making a sacrifice right now. And what you need to do is, and I'm sure all of you guys have heard this, if you've ever listened to any great climber, especially any of them that came from vertical world, which was Sean Bailey, Drew Ruana, Melina Costanza, many other great climbers that train with Tyson, their motto is trust the process. You trust the process. Those guys used to do so much high volume training. And obviously they had a coach there. You guys will be your own coach and have me there to guide you. But the most important thing to realize is, if you're going and you're noticing right now I'm not improving my top end, I'm not able to send higher grades, great, you're not supposed to yet. We are building a base and we're building resilience. Now your question was, what type of hangs are we doing? We're doing the same type of style that I just said, which is long duration, sub-maximal hangs. Okay, we are telling the body, I need you to build tendons that can withstand lots of stretch, and I need them therefore to be more dense. I want you to make these tendons nice and dense so that when I pull on them many times, they can withstand that, and they're a little elastic. So I'm not gonna have that stiff snap when I grab things. That's not what we're developing right now. We will spend the rest of the year slowly progressing to that, and then the whole back of half of the year, you're gonna do nothing. The year should look like this. Very, very light movement up. You'll notice strength, skill gains, and you'll be able to do a lot more climbing. But then we do this, and then we do this. So it's basically like a stock that people were slowly getting the inside edge on. Like, oh man, I should invest. A couple people bought. Then people started learning. They bought, and then it got hot. And then you just go parabolic at the end of the year, and performance and just shatter and break through ceilings. So it's a long game. So you'll be doing, another word for these are density hangs. We're going to be doing density hangs, just straight up. That's the protocol. Now, if you're going to be doing your volume on board climbs, you gotta be strategic. I don't know if it was you, Deadpool. Man, I know your name. It says it in small font underneath your name. I'm sorry, but anyway, if it was you that I was talking to, I don't think it was, but if you guys only have a board at home, and that's all you have to work with, and you're not climbing over V13, this is literally, if you're not climbing over V13 and you haven't been climbing for at least 5 years, then I would highly recommend, if all you have is a moon board or a tension board, to invest in bigger footholds and bigger handholds. You're going to see every day in the capacity phase it's got two things that are going to protect you. One, a big old capacity phase warning. Okay, that's literally a drill, is just a warning for you to read. It's just there so you can see it, you can't miss it. Then there will be a note from your coach that says, today, grip overlap warning, it's a capacity phase, so in today's session I want you to make sure that, given the previous session, which was hangs or whatever the previous session was, that you don't overlap. And it's going to encourage you to do a lot of your climbing in open hand positions. Because in the capacity phase, you're doing a lot of climbing. That's the whole goal. Fatigue the system. Not so much that I'm dragging tail, I'm tired, things ache. We don't want things to ache. We want to do a high quality session where I did just as much climbing as I did last time, and then I did 1 or 2 more laps. That's it. You shouldn't even have days where you're like, and they will come, where you do what you did last session, and you get to the end of the session, you're like, dude, I could do like 20 more right now. Don't do 20 more. Okay, you're having a good day. Just accept that. Because you're having a good day doesn't mean, okay, today I push and do double what I did last time. I have clients that do that, and then they'll tell me, and we don't do that again because, yeah, you were able to tolerate it. You got a great night's sleep, you ate good food, whatever, but the body wasn't ready for that load spike. You can't just double and expect the body to handle it. There's a weak link somewhere. Usually, it's this tiny little structure that keeps the tendon pressed to the bone, and that's your pulley. It's tiny. And if everything else, your muscles are adapting fast, you're getting really strong from the supplementals, your mobility is amazing, and now you're just using your legs like crazy on the wall. That's great, but that little guy needs time to catch up. So we can't just launch forward. You're gonna have, that's what the ACWR calculator is for. It will help you understand, what's my ACWR? Should I go a little bit harder? And I did. Oh, okay, whoa. My ACWR jumped. Okay, I know that's a good warning sign, meaning I need to pull back. So by even just, I've told people, 10 holds. You get 10 hands, 10 feet on the board. Screw-ons in between where those holds are. You're not going to be doing moonboarding for this phase anyway. So just like, you can intersperse them, stick open hand, grab some big jugs, some big slopers, put them on the side of the wall if you've got a side wall. Big feet help, really big feet. Add a couple volumes on the edges. And guess what? Even if you'd want to take them off for your projecting day, just drill them off if they're in the way of the boulder you want to work and put them back on. Easy. Okay, Pablo, is it possible to split up the climbing sessions and the strength and conditioning sessions in the BPF and do them on separate days? Yes, sir. You literally just grab them, drag and drop. You should have gotten a video in an email, Pablo, unless you signed up today. I haven't sent that email out, or maybe it has automatically been sent out. It goes out every day to whoever's joining. We may just not have gotten you into that email, but you should see that in the example I actually show, you literally just done. That's how easy it is to move your supplemental sessions to the next day. Also, how easy it is to move your entire program forward 2 days if you need extra rest days. Done. That's it. The drag and drop feature of the calendar is so sick. I mean, my app guy is the man. Okay, heard that they are put together on the same day. Will this mess with recovery? Currently climbing at a gym that barely has any weights. So Pablo, great question. Now with supplemental training, I personally like to do my supplemental training after my climbing sessions. Keeps everything together. It basically allows for my recovery window to be as large as possible. Okay, now I have done this for years. I'm able to do a hard climbing session and then do a really high quality conditioning session afterwards, my supplemental training. I do always, before I do that, have at least 2 pieces of fruit, usually at the very end of my session as I'm kind of cooling off. And that way I've, 10, 15, 20 minutes later, I'm actually getting that energy while I'm entering the supplemental session. And I always will also have, this is just my lucky number, 12 big gulps of water. It's just my thing. But now I go into my supplementals and I feel great. You might like to do your supplementals on the other day, the next day. Awesome. You might like to do your supplementals before your climbing session. I don't advise doing that unless you've been doing that because you want climbing to be the priority and get the majority of your energy. But if you're doing that and that works for you, there's sports science and then there's Pablo science, okay? You look and you listen and you read and appreciate and absorb sports science so you're very informed, but you ultimately need to do what works for you, okay? It's just like high rep and low intensity and low rep and high intensity. Some people get incredible strength adaptations from low intensity, high rep. Sports science would say that you need to drive your peak force up by doing high intensity loads. Yes, some people just don't adapt well to that. It's not the majority of people, it's the minority, but that person would be very ill-advised to just follow the sports science and ignore that they are an adapter in a different way. Their body just probably has more type 1 muscle fibers, and that's how they were built. It's genetics. Okay, so we got next question. You Goda, I have a very specific climb I want to work towards. How can I start adjusting my training for that goal? It's mostly heel hooks and really bad open hand crimps. Perfect. So if you're asking about the BPF, I'm going to just blend this into the BPF because you can train for any goal within this program. The program gives you the style of sessions, but it gives you ultimate flexibility and customization for people's goals, people's strengths and weaknesses, people's facilities. So you'll see the sessions are very descriptive, and they'll give you exactly what you should be focusing on, what the intention is, and what you need to be doing in the session in order to make this drill beneficial in its intention, okay? Now, if your intention of the program is to prepare for this climb, then the climbs you select should skew more towards this style. They shouldn't be exclusively in this style because you'll overload certain tissue, but it should be in the majority. So your open hand crimps, yeah, dude, get on more heel hooks and get on more open hand crimps. It should be the thing you start your session with because there it is. It's a priority, right? Use that priority hierarchy in your dashboard. It's a guide there. Read it. It is chock full of such good information and educational material. All of your guides just have really, really important information that it's just good to know as an athlete. Like they will, of course, be there to help guide your decisions. That's why we made them, but it just really helps educate you. Okay, sorry noob, is there a way to make my BPF workaround be compatible as possible with my setting schedule? What would you recommend? Absolutely, dude. You are one of probably 40 setters that have reached out to me. So this is the structure I use with my setters. Now, for a setter, let's just understand what you have, right? And I'm just gonna give you, like, for a setter who works full-time, 4 days a week, okay? You have a very high load, okay? You probably don't need to do a lot of capacity building beyond taking just a little bit more than what you're currently doing, and really your incremental blocks should be a little smaller, and you need to be logging what you're doing in your setting session. Now you should log that as a fun session, okay? That way it's not gonna be, another type of session that's within the program, so you'll be able to see my fun sessions. It'll show you your data for those specific sessions. They always have this amount of load. And so those will tell you when I've got a big setting day, okay, I see my total load for the week is already pretty high. You're just going based on the load for the week, dude. That's your capacity increase. So your total load for the week, it needs to be, like I said, 5 to 10% more. As a setter, it depends on what you're setting and what you're forerunning, who you are in the crew. Are you the one that gets on the really hard stuff, the really techie stuff? Like if you guys split it like that, but you're gonna also really need to drag and drop your schedule forward a lot. Like if you have a heavy setting day, you could do a part of your training session that day, or if it's more than you should have been doing, like you scrapped a boulder, had to restart it, and you did a lot of forerunning, tweaking, you're tired, do not train that day. If it's gonna be a low quality training day, it's not gonna be a green day, don't go for it. Do not, and this is what I'm saying, I pay for every week that you guys have the app for and you're using it. I will pay for you gladly to do it, this whole thing, this whole year again. I'll pay for a whole extra year for you. If it means that when you go to train, if you're tired, you just drag and drop that day forward in the future. Don't do it today. You really, really capitalize on the investment you've made. Only do these days when they'll be high quality. Don't pay for a low quality session. And also, don't take that increased injury risk. Okay, so Steph, we've got, you do not take DUP as an option for who want to perform at least one time per month, i.e. in a lot of sport there are competitions each month. Is it not a better way than capacity, strength, power, PE? It's just another way. You could definitely, if you want to perform once per month, most people don't want to perform once per month. It's Steph. It's just a different approach. Undulating is great. It works. People get great results from that. I've done many DUP programs. It's just another way. Conjugate integrate, another great way. It's probably the second most common program I do, especially when I get a personal client for the first time. I don't love to put people into a pure capacity program right at first. I will put them into this structure, but it will kind of be conjugated integrate in the sense that I'm also going to have them do, like you guys will have, a projecting day. I'll probably give them a skill day, and within that skill day, I'm going to have other focuses as a priority, especially in the beginning, because I want to run a diagnostics program. I don't know who this person is just based on an hour-long conversation, and you guys probably don't even know who you truly are based on your first interaction with the program. So that's why your first capacity phase, it's not just we're building capacity. That's the structure of this phase. That's the number one energy system and physiological goal of the phase. But you're going to have 9 skill drill options. You're going to have mobility training, which is also on its own track throughout the full year. It's periodized. Same thing with your push, your pull, your legs and your core. We're trying to hit all of these different elements. So one, we improve all of these things, but we have the priorities, okay? But we also learn about you. What are your big needs? Where do you really struggle? And going into the next cycle, now you know where to put your tokens, your energy tokens. If you're not seeing great gains from, you're someone who's very mobile already, and the mobility training, yeah, sure, it's giving you a little bit extra and you're getting strong in those positions, but you're getting tired from them and you're not seeing a huge return, great, then we won't do that in the next cycle. Or for you, maybe just pick, instead of doing all 5 or 6 of the mobility drill options, which you guys don't have to do all of them, okay, you can just do some of them, kind of with everything in the plan, then you move on to your next biggest priority and drop that lower, you always want to cut out your lowest performing, meaning your lowest yielding, and give that energy to what will yield more. Okay, great. Oh my God, I'm out of water. Would you say this program helps someone diagnose their own bottleneck weaknesses and develop self-coaching skills and not be too dependent on external programming? Oh man, great. I think my last answer just answered that question, but dude, that's the whole goal. The whole goal of this, you're going to have so many tools at your fingertips that none of this is just, here, use the tool. You've used the tool, here's your answer, or you're like, go to the drill. Everything in this tells you the intention, tells you the why, tells you the how, it tells you the quality markers to look for. This is teaching you because it is self-led, right? I'm not going to be there in your session. You'll have me to talk to and bounce ideas off of and help you absorb and retain and assimilate information and these educational components of the plan, but I'm not there every day. So you have to be autonomous, just like anyone. I don't know if you guys saw my video with Noah, but you have to be your own self-driving coach. You know, with the boys, when I raised the Wee Beasties, yeah, I coached them 5 days a week, sometimes 6, but I had them all go to other gyms by yourself. Go do a session. Tell me what you learned. What do you feel? You need to, when you leave this program, and you will, I can guarantee you, you will leave this program and you will be the person that helps all of your friends. You're going to be able to tell them exactly what it is that they need to be looking for, what they're doing wrong, how they need to think about things. The goal is not only will you be able to do this yourself in years to come, but the quality and the improvement rate of your climbing and your training moving forward will forever be elevated. Yes, it's a 1-year training program, but this is designed to literally be like I keep calling it, it's a college experience. You go to school, you learn while you're in college, you don't just lose it at the end. You walk away now a competent member of society that can contribute to the workforce and is desirable inside of a company. It's just like if you were going into a new friend group of climbers, people would look at you and be like, damn, I want to talk to him about what I'm thinking about doing in my training, because he knows what he's doing. That's the goal of this program. So you never get hurt, you never waste time, you're never guessing again. That's why I devoted 2 years to building this, not because I just want to give people a pre-made plan. If you guys have already seen, I have one pre-made plan on my website. I've always ever had one pre-made plan. It took me a while to even want to make one, and the Full Spectrum was like the baby of this. It did the same thing. It gave you a conjugated intricate model, so it's very different, but it teaches you. It just explains why for everything. Okay, we got Dino Head. Looks like this is already being answered. Thank you. Is there a specific reason that climbing days are stacked up with lifting exercises? Would it be different to stack the lifting with the mobility sessions? Yeah, you could totally do that. Now here's the danger. I don't want to say danger. I want to say the potential drawback of stacking your lifting and mobility on the same day is that's your in-between session, climbing session day. So if you're adding that much load during a non-climbing day, let's not even talk about the fact that you're going to be lifting up weights using your fingers. It interrupts a nice recovery window, and your nervous system, your CNS, is really just taking a bigger hit than it should on that recovery day. So what you don't want to do, and this is very important for everyone who's in the plan to realize this, is your recovery days are recovery days. Now, I'm going to also say this. You've got this supplemental training program. You've got this mobility program. Awesome. This is a real statement, okay? If doing the supplementals and doing the mobility across the full year, if that volume makes it so that you get 90% of the improvements that you could have gotten in your climbing and finger strength, as opposed to 100% if you didn't do them, then you should not have done them. They will never account for more than 10% of your improvements. Now that 10% is going to be huge, and you will improve in different ways, especially the legs mobility and the leg workouts and the mobility. I mean, you're going to see, and obviously the lock-offs and pull training, but the legs, because no one does this style of leg training. This has been like my secret sauce with all my clients for years. You can ask any of them, and the mobility, but still, I would personally trade 10% leg strength for 1% finger strength every day, every single day. Never, ever would I sacrifice finger strength and climbing skill, power, just being a better climber for any supplemental gains at all. I'd rather be stiff as a board and have bulletproof, incredibly strong fingers than to be the most mobile person on the planet and just have like decently strong fingers. So that's a fact. Okay. All right. Now, Cowboy. Here we go. Hey, Charlie, I have a couple of questions. I'm afraid that I will not be able to improve my climbing technique only watching videos. All the rest aspects, I'm sure it is possible to improve by following your program. Can I add one lead climbing training session per week in the program? Yes, absolutely. Is fitness training included in the program, or can it be separate? Okay, so I definitely think I answered your third question. Fitness is accounted for it. All of it follows its own periodized track throughout the year. Can I add climbing lead? Yes, you can absolutely add lead climbing sessions. I think I answered it during this Q&A, but I've answered it many times before. You just move your program forward 2 days, insert your lead climbing session, boom, keep it moving. Do that as many times as you want. So lead climbers, you'll probably be looking at doing this 12 months of programming in 14 to like 18. I mean, just depends if you want 1 or 2 lead sessions per 8-day microcycle. Yeah, you can. A lot of lead climbers are doing this. You're going to improve literally every part of your climbing, except for your endurance. Okay, that the BPF does not improve your endurance. I'm not going to, have anyone under the illusion that this will help your endurance. Everything else will improve. Okay, but not your endurance. Your endurance may improve as a function of better finger strength and better movement economy, but your aerobic capacity is going nowhere with this. Okay, and then you said, I'm afraid that I will not be able to improve my climbing technique only watching videos. Yeah, no one's climbing technique improves from just watching videos. 0 people's. I mean, it's unbelievable for your development to watch great climbers. And I can tell you this, if you watch my video analysis videos, technical analysis videos, you are going to learn things that you quite literally will never learn on your own. You won't. I mean, I can say that with 99.9% certainty. The amount of studying I've had to do, the amount of conversations I've had to have with extremely high-level coaches, extremely high-level climbers, the amount of times I've had to get on some of the world's hardest boulders for me across the world to learn these things, you would have to go through 20 years doing what I'm doing to get it. So please take advantage of the video analysis technique library. It's just such high value, but the program is going to teach you through the programming. Just by engaging in these drills, watching the video for each drill, doing the same focused element of skill practice, across this year, you guys are going to just improve in so many ways that you've never had to be forced to improve in ever. And you're just going to be also focusing on an element and then getting repetition with high focus on one element, which people don't do. And they don't do it in a well-structured manner. In the way that it's presented, you'll see that skill drill preserves that quality. And it just tells you exactly how to do it, in what amount, in what way, and then you bring that to the Q&As. And we can talk about how to even better perfect your skill development through that session. Okay, we got Lammy, I think that's Lammy, right? Can I ask, is muscle memory in tendons a thing? Because I used to be able to do pull-ups on 6-inch crimp, 6-inch, I think you meant 6 millimeter, but I had to take like 9 months off due to injury. Okay. Muscle memory is, it's right there in the term. It is muscle. So the tendons are what connect your muscle to your bone. So the muscle is receiving the signal from the brain. Okay, it's an electric current that goes and innervates that muscle through neurons firing off, and it will tell the muscle to shorten, how fast to do that, how many muscle fibers are going to be contracting within the muscle itself. And so if you are not able to hold an edge before, yes, it could be neurological. It could also be that your tendons aren't as stiff as they were before. That's probably what happened here. As well as if you took 9 months off, you also probably saw a good amount of muscle atrophy. Now, you're not seeing that much in the forearm. The forearm probably didn't atrophy that much. It's much more likely that you are highly neurologically de-recruited. The body's very efficient. If it's not using something, it's not going to be keeping it active. It's very energy inefficient to do that. It's going to be prioritizing keeping the things that you're actively using in order for survival. Now, if you're not using it, it's not going to it's not even going to keep that pathway open. But it's been open before, so it can easily be opened again. So if you were to start training, your tendon stiffness will come back. and you will become neurologically recruited again in that way if you're doing it. And just start back easy, dude. Don't take your time, especially with tendons. I mean, I already said my piece. Okay. Ian, so I just popped my pulley. Oh, Ian, yesterday. Ian, trying to top out on Whispers of Wisdom in Emerald Lake. Good boulder. Should I wait until I'm 100% back to start it, or start it whenever I'm back? I mean, Ian, if it was yesterday, dude, don't start on June 8th. It's just going to be such a headache managing that. It's your pinky, so granted, you could quickly come back and just do a lot of your training and drag. But Ian, if you do that too soon, when you can at least offload in four-finger open hand, you're going to flirt with, a lumbrical injury. You're going to flirt with DIP synovitis if you're constantly dragging. You could do, you could strain the collateral ligament. I mean, you could definitely do it, dude, but why not just wait? It doesn't take anything. We're going to be here. You'll be able to come in. You'll have everything when you come back. So I would at least, Ian, give it like a month. Do your rehab. You can even just look at the plan. Don't log your sessions. If you want to get an idea and test a couple of the drills out, but not do it in its entirety, that's fine. If you already selected your start date, Ian, just email me at charlie@Paradigm Climbing. I'll move your start date. Just tell me when you want to postpone it to. And if your start date comes and you're still not ready, we just move it out. It doesn't matter. Okay, Potato, great name, dude. Okay, supposedly, potatoes are so good. Quick aside, just need a, shout out to potatoes. All right, supposedly I'd take a week of vacation. Is there a quick option to push the planned training for the week to the next week, apart from manually dragging and dropping those sessions to the next week? Nope, that's it. You literally just drag and drop it. That's it. I hope that answers the question. Is there a quick option to push the planned training for the week to next week, apart from manually? No, dude, that's it. You just drag and drop. Jonathan, 1000s. I am curious. I assume with a home wall and a decent amount of climbing training equipment, but slightly inconsistent access to a commercial gym, that this could still work pretty well. 100%. I'm just curious as to what kind of things are involved. Let's say for V10 to V13. Also, as for this grade range with the program, are we referring more to red point grade or project grade? I'm thinking about it, though, having just graduated college, not having a job currently, it's kind of hard to commit to financially. I hear you. So we've got, the question was, okay, so Jonathan, I did answer this earlier in the Q&A. 100% you can do this with a home wall, especially if you have inconsistent access to a commercial gym. That'll really help spread out the load. Even at the V10 to V13 range, which also, it should be your red point. It shouldn't be your projecting grade. You should be red pointing that range. You're going to want to add holds to your home wall. I don't know what your home wall looks like. If you, let's see, you said amount of training. Oh, with the home wall, yeah. So as long as it's not just, like a limit board, like it's just set up for limit bouldering, then yeah, dude, definitely just, if it's got jugs, if it's got big pinches, some volumes maybe, big feet, that's a big one. We want big feet for the capacity, so you're not just taking everything in your hands regardless of the grip overlap. It's just too hard to keep the intensity low enough. People usually let it creep up too high. So yeah, you're going to be able to benefit from this tremendously. Let's see, you did ask for what kind of things are involved. So you're going to have 2 sessions that are devoted to the phases intention, meaning the block style, capacity, basic strength, max strength. 2 sessions will focus on that, but those 2 sessions also have high skill focus. So within each drill, you are asked to find climbs that either cater towards your strength, your weakness profile, or require you to have a specific focus in your climbing. So there's the quality of the actual session. So it's structure role, and then there's quality. So I want you to be focusing on developing this aspect of your climbing. I want you to be, adopting the mindset of somebody who is, and it's just like, I'm going to give you what pro climbers have used to get to where they are, how their brains work, how you need to start thinking of your sessions to pull more out of them. Then you're going to have one day where you're projecting. Every phase, you're going to have a projecting session in every single phase. Now that projecting session the boulders will change. The style of the climbs will change. You'll be told, I want you during this phase to focus on something that's a little more technical, less intense. Again, just customize it to whatever you want to be improving at. And then we've got, and the other session is going to be either just finger focus. Actually, I don't think I have any that are exclusively just finger focus. You'll have the finger focus, right? Like your hanging element will be the number one intention of the day, but you'll also have a skill drill. So it'll be pick one of the three. Today you'll be doing the skill drill right after warm up, and then you'll be doing the finger workout. Or sometimes one of the drills will be after your fingers. That's intentional. You'll see it will be below. It'll still be pick one of the three, but in that case you would do the fingers first and then that skill drill after, and that's intentional, the order. But that's it. And then you've got your workouts, you got your mobility training, and yeah. Okay, Adam, are plyometrics part of the supplemental training? Trying to fly like a bird. Yes, Adam, you will have plyometrics. They're not going to be in your capacity phase for obvious reasons, but they will be coming. Yep, you're going to have plyometrics in, I believe, 3 of your phases, 2 or 3, and some are optional. It just depends on goals. Okay. We got, thanks for answering my question. Yes, I joined the BPF, but I wasn't sure how I can tailor it to more style I'm working towards. Glad I answered the question, dude. Thanks for asking. Okay, how do you determine whether a climber needs more capacity or better expression of existing capacity? How would this help if the limiting factor is increasingly expressing current capacity on specific outdoor boulders, i.e. a climber who already has adequate strength metrics for their goals but is underperforming outdoors? Okay, so that's a great question. Now, Gray, I'm going to answer this under the assumption that you already have great capacity, okay? That's going to be how I answer this question. Gray, if you've been building capacity and now you're stepping into a program that starts with building capacity, you don't need that first phase, right? You just did it. So why do it again? If that is the case, Gray, let me know, and what I can do is I'll go into your plan. If you literally just built capacity, I will take that capacity phase out and I'll move it so you start in basic strength, and I'll just give you 2 max strength blocks with a bigger deload period in between. Okay, that's what you need, because it sounds like you personally need more time accessing your top end and learning how to use your top end. So you'll benefit greatly from the latter 80% of the program. Now, if you're someone who has a hard time expressing current capacity on specific outdoor boulders, guess where you need to spend your time? On those specific outdoor boulders. You, Gray, are gonna have so much to benefit from. There's a bunch of mental drills. There's gonna be one, Gray, called Effort is Success. That drill alone has completely changed the entire world of many of my athletes that have this exact issue, because you are someone who frequently does submaximal volume, and when you're doing submax, you don't go all out. The goal of this drill is to exclusively go all out. It doesn't matter, right? Effort is success, not sending. Don't send it. I don't care. Do something that doesn't even have a finish hold. Just do moves that are at your max, and your goal is to give as much effort and focus on effort as possible. And then be honest, write down how much effort you gave. At first, it'll be like, oh man, I gave like 70%. Great. Next attempt, try and give 71. You might write 80 next time, 90 the attempt after. When I look at my clients' logs, it always has a climb. The first attempt, it's hard. But next time when they do it for the first time, that first one last session was a 70% for their first attempt. This time it's an 80. Next time it's a 90. Then they can start first go, which is huge for your climbing career, is first go, everything you got. Don't hold back on that first go. Why do we hold back? Because we're unsure. If you are unsure, don't get on the boulder or don't get on the wall, okay? Step back, visualize, rehearse, feel it, build the confidence. You should have a shit-eating grin when you're about to get on this thing, like, I've got it. There's no move I'm unsure of. Even if I'm unsure, I've got a plan B. And I also have a plan C, which is, my plan C is I'll try plan B, and if it doesn't work, I know how to go back to plan A. I've rehearsed that movement, so I'm ready for anything. Now I get on, no doubts, now you give 100%. And that is what the mental components. There's two other drills. I'm not going to get into them. This one was more specific for the example. But yeah, I hope I answered your question, Gray. I'm going to move on to Sorry Noob. Okay, thanks. Another question in relation to balancing setting capacity. After watching the app videos and emails, I'm still not sure how the two apps work in conjunction with one another. Should I think of the logging one as kind of a separate tool? Maybe it just seems like a lot right now and I need time to feel it out. Everything you just said is right, okay? It is a lot right now. It totally is. You just got handed two tools that have more capabilities than anything you've ever interacted with for climbing. I spent 2 years designing these. They can do so much it'll make your head spin. You don't need to focus on that, okay? The logging app, the dashboard app, is a separate app from the other training app. They are not the same company, okay? My training app guy was way too busy making the training app incredible. He didn't have time to do everything he needed to do and make this dashboard app, okay? They had to be separate tools for now, okay? Maybe in the future I can have them be one. So what you do is you have your training app and then you literally just swipe over and you type in the boulder you did on the other app. It keeps your page up and you just plug it in as you go. That's it. So you're just logging what you do in one app and the other app is just there to tell you what you're doing. So you just have to swipe once. That's it. You can also, just want to say this, you can totally log. We gave people the option to log everything in your training app. It just doesn't communicate with the other app. So your training log there, if you don't want to use the dashboard app, you don't have to. There are going to be people that don't, and that's okay. If you just want to track it and you don't want to know what your ACWR is, your readiness, you don't want to see your stats represented. I mean, you guys have probably seen it. You have like 20 stats that accumulate and will be tracked throughout the year, which is so freaking cool. We also have the option to make a leaderboard, and so people can see where they stand and what their stats look like, but I don't want to do that yet because I want everyone to not have to try to compete, especially during the capacity phase. That's how people will get hurt, if people are competing to do more. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, I geek out with this stuff. It's so cool. Deadpool. Another concept I don't understand is in climbing, how does strength transition to power and power to power endurance? So, great question. Your strength, and I'm guessing what you mean is your top end strength. Strength is the highest, or we could say your max strength is the most force that muscle can produce. Okay, how many fibers are actually getting recruited? How many are being told by the brain to shorten and pull? When the muscle shortens, it pulls on the tendon and that moves the joint, right? We need to know how high can we get that? How much can we make that muscle work for us? How much force can that produce? Great. Now power, all power means is speed. That's what power means. Power means strength times speed. That's it, okay? Your power is when I grab, and I'm just gonna say the most prevalent one in climbing, when I hit this hold, when I hit it and my body's landing on it, I'm grabbing it, how quickly can I get to my maximal number or any number on that, on the way to maximal? Not every move requires you to be max, right? Most don't. Definitely not dynamic ones. So your contact strength or your finger power is when I hit this hold, how do I engage those flexors? How stiff is the tendon? The stiffness in the tendon means when the muscle pulls on that tendon, it's just like a dynamic rope versus static rope. A dynamic rope, it will stretch a bit before it locks and stops stretching. A static rope, you land on it. Oh my God, that hurt because it immediately locked up. The second it went, there was no slack, it was done, no stretch. That's how people that have very, very good contact strength have extremely stiff tendons. Okay, they're stiff and hopefully they're dense because you're ripping on it, right? It's just like a rope. If the rope wasn't very dense, if it didn't have a good core, and that core was light and thin, if you pulled on it with 2,000 pounds of force, or you ran it over a rough edge, which is what happens when it runs over your bone, right? It would tear. If it's dense, though, it can take a lot. It can, it's not going to tear or even fray when it's being run over something too much. It's very dense. So When we train power, we're training that stiffness. Then when we train power endurance, what we do is we take that max strength. It's actually it's a funny term because yes, power endurance, but it's funny because power happens in your first 5 to 10 seconds. It's a totally different energy source. One is creatine, and the other one is your fast glycolysis. So you actually have different energy you're using. But what the power endurance is we're teaching the body, I want you to quickly recover in between attempts. You metabolically, we're making the muscle very, the best way to say it is chemically efficient. So we're not, when it's trying to become more acidic in there, the body's fighting that. It's preventing it from becoming very acidic in a short duration. So I think I answered your question. I don't even know. We make you very strong, and then we allow you to access that strength very quickly, and then we say, okay, now that you can access that strength very quickly, I want you to be able to do that back to back to back to back to back and not get tired. So I want you to be able to do it more times. So that's why we do it in this order. Because you in order to be able to have a higher ceiling for your power endurance, you first need to have more strength and you need to have more power in order to be able to be more powerful multiple times back to back. It's like board problems. You know how you can, like, good example, you do a huge snatching move on a board and you can do it in an ISO and you catch it, it's really freaking hard, but then you get your feet on and you like just slap for the next move. You have good power there, maybe, but if we got you a little stronger, a little more powerful, so that wasn't even top end, and then we made it so you could do that move, and then you weren't fatigued from it, not nearly to the level that you are now, you'll be ripping the next move easy. So a huge thing you guys are going to feel is what most people feel during the capacity phase is I can do more climbing. It's really it. Okay, I can do more climbing and I'm really skilled right now, and I just feel so good and flowy on the wall. Basic strength, okay, I feel even more flowy, but I'm starting to feel really strong. Like my skills and my strength are starting to come together, and now I'm actually peaking. I'm not peaking, but I'm now past where I was before I started. Basic strength, you will hopefully, if you do it right, that's when you start to break through your previous ceiling. And then max strength is what, like, you pop out, and then the max strength you push and you go up like this. Then power lifts it. Power endurance, we move sideways, but we go up in a different way because now you can do more moves. And so you should be feeling like I'm able to do harder problems on the board, but when I make contact with things, I'm not feeling like that crazy snap. This is max strength phase. But then in the power phase, you'll feel like I'm grabbing holds and they feel a little easier, but when I jump to things and catch them dynamically, my fingers just shut instantly on it. Like it's holds that you used to look at, and when you jump to them, you just like flub them. Your fingers just stay. And then power endurance, you will just you basically keep your power and strength where it's at, but your ability to do those moves now, like the boulders that are max limit, you stick a move and it was so hard and you drop. Now you can do those full boulders because you're able to do all the moves, but linking them was the crux. So you get picked up in each aspect while the other previous phase is maintained. So that's the stacking that I've described. I just gave such a brief scattered overview of that. I'm sorry, that was garbage. Okay, coming from a powerlifting background, best squat, bench, deadlift, awesome. At this point, would you change anything around the lifting side of the system? No, honestly, you're probably going to benefit from much less supplemental work, honestly. Those are crazy good numbers, dude. 320 kilogram deadlift is sick. To be honest, dude, you probably don't even need to do any more than 2 sets a week of any of those. You just don't need to be that strong in those lifts. Those muscles don't need to be that strong. And I'll say this actually, if you're improving those numbers, you're doing the program wrong. Your numbers should not be improving. If anything, I would say if I were to look at two people's years and I didn't even see their climbing progression, but I saw their starting numbers were what you have, and I was told they both followed the program. One of them, they saw improved supplemental numbers from this starting point. The other one saw decrease. Who do you think got better at climbing? No, I'm not blinking. The person who saw reduced supplemental numbers. Because to keep numbers like that, you need to be feeding those muscles. You need to be working hard. You should not be working that hard in supplementals. They're supplemental. They literally just help if you can't get everything from climbing. Okay? All the best climbers in the world, all of them, there's not one exception. All they do is climb. For 95% of their training in this sport, it was climbing. Aiden Roberts put out a video with him doing external rotations, and you see people hanging from an edge on a hangboard. That's what they share. If they're great climbers, if they're top 1% climbers, they're climbing. The sport's called climbing, okay? Do not supplement yourself out of becoming a great climber. I know many people who have done that. They're in this program because it helps. It's a great supplement. If you can't get the full climbing experience in, or even if you can and you still have energy and you want to make gains in these other areas, great. But if you can't get everything out of the climbing program, if you can't do it all, and you're literally sacrificing time in the climbing so that you can do supplementals, you're doing it wrong. Okay, make the sacrifice. Always chop out that stuff. Never the climbing, unless your fingers are aching. Okay, John P. If we get sick, should we wait until we are healthy and keep moving the program back, or does it depend and it might be more of a yellow day? So John, this is one of those, it's a nuanced thing, right? Like, I don't know how sick you are. I don't. You know, and that's it, right? Like, you could, if you've got, your nose is runny and you got a little bit of a cold, don't pin yourself into the ground and do a hard session. Don't go super hard because you're just rocking your body's CNS. You need to recover. The name of the game is high quality sessions. This is what I want you guys to all think of, because this is literally, if you remember one thing, this is it. I want to gain as many quality points as possible in a year. That's it. As many quality points. Every experience, every time you climb, every time you train, you get a quality point value. How high quality was that session? What did I do? And it should be climbing, right? I just explained that. Or finger strength. Hopefully you can do that through climbing. So if I'm looking at the day, if I train today and it yields me 20 quality points, that's amazing. But if I got those 20 quality points, but now the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days, I'm in a hole, I feel sick, I can't even train, I got 20 quality points over 5 days of training. I'd rather you go in, get 7 points. Okay, get 7. And then the next day, because you didn't go too hard, you got 8. And then the next day you did 10 because you were slowly recovering. Add that up, dude, that's 23 points over those 5 days. That's more quality points in the year. So you should always be thinking, should I train today? And this is the Green Days philosophy. It's just another way of thinking it. If I go to train today and I'm a little achy, I just definitely am not fully recovered from this past session, but the internal monologue inside my head is saying, go for it. It might be a good session when you warm up. Shut up. Just shut up, dude. No, don't go for it, or just do an easier skill-focused day. You cannot be digging yourself in the ground. Think about, you guys need to have 2 of yourself. One is present, no emotions me. The other is emotions me in the future. What I am affecting future me, who wants to climb in 2 days or tomorrow. How will he feel if I climb today? Will he be sad and full of regret? Because I don't want to make him feel bad. I want to make him feel happy and proud and excited and motivated. I know that when I do this, usually he doesn't feel that way. So you know what? I'm not going to train today because I probably only would have gotten 10 quality points out of today, or even 5, and then I would have felt like shit tomorrow and the next day, and I would have had to push my session to get another high quality day. So I'll just not do it today, and then tomorrow I can get 30 quality points. I just had to wait a day. And if I look at the block of time, I don't even interrupt. I don't have to now take 3 extra rest days or whatever to get out of the stupid hole I just dug, because it's possible to get negative 10 quality points. Some sessions just suck and you keep going because you just never learn to not, right? So that's the whole goal of this, and that's why I have the dashboard. That's why you have so many warnings in the program. That's why you have me. It's the biggest reason why I'm going to be here for you guys in the Q&As, to help make sure that you guys don't make bad decisions, because they're easy to make. especially when you're following a program and you're psyched. That's why you have so many warnings. Okay. Okay, Holden, you only have to move the next session a week forward, then click the move all button at the bottom. It's super easy. Yeah, Holden's been checking out the app. It is, I promise you guys, to move your schedule as many times as you want. That's it. That's literally all you do. Is there a pattern you would recommend for skill drills during warm-up? Like, would certain skill drills complement others when following each other? Yes. So, you absolutely can do that, 100%. Now, I want to say this. You guys are going to see, and it's going to be when you start your warm-ups, it will have 9 different technical focus drills that you can do. They're just the focus, okay? As you're going through your ladder, what it's there for is, you guys go through your ladder every time, right? You just do the climbing, you do the boulder, you read it, and you climb it in whatever style it's there. You're not thinking much more other than I'm warming up and I want to do this climb. What this does is it says, I want you to do this climb, but today, every climb you do, I want you to really focus and emphasize this technical fundamental skill. All the best climbers in the world, what do they have in common? There's 2 things. 1, they have exceptional finger strength. None of them don't. 0 absolute best climbers have bad finger strength, okay? You're not gonna find them. Number 2, they have an exceptional command of the fundamental techniques in rock climbing. All of them. It's the fundamentals. Because when you have exceptional fundamentals, what you do is you have a default amount of weight that's in your fingers. Okay? Sure, if you can execute a tricky bicycle, that's great because you can do that move. But I'm talking on every freaking interaction you have with a hand or a foothold and a position in rock climbing. You have a default amount of weight that you give to that move. I'm accepting, with my skill set, my mastery of the fundamentals, I'm accepting 100 pounds in my hands here. Okay, I'm accepting that. Now, when I really focus and I have that subtle shift in my hips, they lean in, and I shift my hips over the left foot when I want to bring my right foot up, just that freaking fundamental. You can either do it and offload 30 pounds from the hand for those 2 seconds, or you can offload 50 pounds from the hands. You add that up, and across all those 9 core fundamentals, you are improving your finger strength by many, many pounds. So the best climbers I work with, all of them, the ones that improve the fastest, and I know who they are because they give themselves away immediately because they tell me, dude, the technical focus points are low-key cheating. They all say it, all of them. If someone tells me that, I'm like, oh, I don't even have to do my job. This person is literally the type of person who really sees the value of every part of this plan. So it is going to look like, oh, this is like something that you give beginners. It's like a technique class. Yeah, it is for the best in the world. It will get you there. So every day you just start the day with a theme. And that also makes you very privy to that when you're doing any of your climbs. And a lot of times, because I memorize the technical focus, all the time, and my clients tell me, dude, I started the day with the foot switching drill, and on this boulder, I didn't even realize because I felt like it was too hard in the past. I switched feet on this tiny thing when I was fully extended, and it was effortless and easy, and it totally cracked open the boulder. I would have never thought of that if I didn't start the day with that focus. And you do 9 of them, and you alternate every session. Your question was, can I match it to the drill I have later in the day? Totally. That's great. If you don't do that, doesn't matter. You're still, then you have 2 different focus points that you have for the day. So there's an argument to be made for both. If you want to match them, awesome. You really immerse yourself in one. But if you do that, you've got 4 day types, right? So if you're doing that every time, it just slows down the rotation and the frequency at which you get all of those fundamental drills. And I didn't add 20 because there's only 9 true fundamentals, and I want you to master those by high frequency throughout the year. Okay. Sorry for the tangent, y'all. Is there a pattern you would recommend for the skill drills? Did I just answer that? I think I might have. Yeah, I think I answered that. Okay. Got a weird hand finger injury that hasn't improved in 2 weeks. Hurts when open hand dragging or isolated pulls on back 3 index is unaffected. Now the question, what's your experience with online physio consulting? I'm afraid there are no physio or for sport injuries for hand fingers close to where I live. Dude, I exclusively, whenever I've gotten injured, I exclusively work with people online. You get a far superior experience when you work with somebody online. And this is in my personal opinion. Go see the person in person if it's, you've got something weird and like you want to talk to them. I mean, there's no exception. It's that person will be able to, through video, have you do tests. They're going to have you do the exact things. I mean, I've got my friend Matthias, the other coach, helping me with the small finger injury that I have right now. And it's everything that you need. You talk to him 24/7. That's the real benefit of it, is they give you a program, you talk to them 24/7, so you're working through it. In-person people, unless they have that, you're getting all the same things. You're usually just paying more for in-person. You have to keep going there. And they're not specialized in working with the climber or working with people ongoing while you're in your sessions. That's their area of expertise. They're going to be really good at talking you through it. People with in-person usually aren't. They just don't have because they're working in person, they don't have the type of client base also. It's not as large. That's like my huge benefit. The reason I've been able to grow so much professionally is because I work with 150 personal clients all year. If you're in person, you're working with like 20, 30, 40. You're so limited, and you don't talk to them every day. You're not working through literally 5 times the amount of career development that this person is. So email me if you want. I'll just connect you with either Matthias or my other PT, Mike. Both of them have space. And they're both climbing specialists. They're both high-level climbers. So be happy to help so that you actually get the real care that you need. And you can see their reviews. Like it works. It works. It just works really well. Okay, so Phil, i.e., hey man, 2 questions. My gym has a color grading system, and the highest color I can currently red point includes V7 to V9, but I can't always red point all of them. Maybe 40 to 50% of them at rest. I need a project over 2 to 4 sessions, so it's safe to assume I can climb V7 and sign up as the V7 to V9. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like that's where you are. I feel like I am at just the beginning of that level, and I wonder if I would get more out of the first group. Of course, let me read that again. But I can't always red point all of them. 40 to 50% of them. Dude, if it's 40, 50%, it sounds like your V7 to V8, honestly. What I would actually want to know, Phil, is that range, and is your gym stiff or is it soft? Because if it's stiff, I would definitely say, like, dude, you're safe. You're well comfortably in the range. If you feel like what you're sending is actually like V6, then yeah, go for the V4 to V6. The cool thing about this is I'm a climber, right? I'm a climber. I work with hundreds of climbers. I know that gyms, outdoors, the grade ranges are nuts. The grade range was the only way I could present it, right? I couldn't say, there's just no other way to do it, right? So everyone knows grades. But the V4 to V6, it will work for people up to V8. Okay, it will, 100%. The V7 to V9, that'll work for people up to V11. It doesn't work the other way so much. Okay, so if you are a little stronger than the range and you're nervous about it, Phil, do the V4 to V6, dude. I'd rather you go 50% too light and get super high quality sessions, be able to manage the load perfectly, never run into oh my God, today I feel crushed, than 10% too much. If you are nervous about it, go into the V4 to V6. And dude, if you're going through it and you're like, hey man, we're 3 months in, I feel like I can do more. Can I try the V7 to V9? Easy. Yeah, sure. You know how long it takes me to do that? Click, drag, click, done. That's it. That's how long it takes me to change your plan. Easy. That's the beauty of these, prefabbed full year with customization within it. I took 2 years to design it so I could do that quickly. Okay. And also, just to be sure, in case it doesn't work out for me, does the refund after a month work with the 5 times? Yes, absolutely. Yep. So if you did the five pay for the first month and you don't like it, you get your money back. Excited to sign up, but that would be reassure me, as it's a pretty big investment as a student. Okay, so now here's the thing, Phil. Like I said in the very beginning, I'm not sure if you're here. The hardest part of this is going to be for me as a person who's guiding everyone through this is to make sure everyone stays for the long haul, right? What's going to happen is you are going to, like I said in the beginning, you're going to go through this capacity phase, and it's going to be a lot of submaximal climbing. It's a preparatory stage. It's basically like, imagine we were doing, we were investing in, you're investing in Apple stock. And in the beginning, you put in $100 and it's like, man, I've made $2 back. It's been a year, $2, dude, I'm out. Like, I've made 2%. Hang on, Apple's about to go off. Right now you made 2%, but next month you're going to make 4, then 6, then 8. And not only that, it compounds, right? So you'll make 4% in the next month, but that'll be on $102, not on 100. Then that 6% you make, that'll be on $106, or actually more because of the compounding. So it's going to be tough in the beginning. You'll see the least amount of improvements in the beginning. And so I'm going to have to be constantly getting emails that say, hey, dude, I'm not seeing incredible results that I thought I'd be climbing a full grade harder now after a month or two. I want my money back. And it's like, well, one, it's just you're not going to see, you'll see like a quarter V grade per month. That's like literally, like I said, that's 3 grades per year. So you just got to stay patient. Now, if you're going through it and you want your money back, you've been logging it, of course, I'm going to give you your money back. That's the policy, right? But I encourage you guys to understand that and make sure that you don't give up on this, and not only give up on the program, but don't give up on the intention of the phase. That's the big one. You will not see your max strength improve in the first 2 months. You will not see your power improve in the first 2 months. You won't see your power endurance improve in the first 2 months. Maybe a little actually because of the volume. You're going to see your skill dramatically improve if you're focusing, okay? And you're going to see big improvements in how much climbing you can do, which is what we need so that your improvement rate can be 2x to 3x, literally. And that's just physiologically. If you put in, imagine those quality points, right? Your quality points are based on how much climbing you can do. If I do one climb for one attempt, and it's a great high quality focused attempt, I get 1 quality point, okay? If I can only do 10 high quality attempts before I get tired, that's 10 quality points for the session. But if we increase your capacity now, we don't focus on anything else. We just make it so that same session, you can do 20 high quality attempts. Your top end didn't move, but it will, because now you get 20 quality attempts in that session. The next time you do it, you get 20 again, and 21, and 22. That's the reason you do capacity. Man, I wish I had some of my clients here who have been through this that could just type in their personal experience in the chat. But this is all people who want to learn about this. Okay, Jerry, I've been climbing for 6 months, and I can comfortably climb V4 and some V5s. Is it realistic to get a place in a year when it makes sense to compete? Where it makes sense to compete seriously? Amateur comps, of course, but that's my main motivation if I'm being honest. I can comfortably climb before and say, is it realistic to get to a place in a year? Oh, okay. To get to a place in a year where it makes sense to compete seriously. Jerry, it's hard for me to answer that question, and I really don't want to seem, what I don't want to do right now is say like, totally, dude, you can. If you do my program, you can get it to a place where you compete seriously, because I don't know what comp you're going into. I don't know who's in those comps. If you're talking about going into like Method Underground here in Jersey, where you get like 12 pros coming in and they're all beasts, no, dude, in a year and a half, you're not going to be able to compete against them. No way. I don't care what program you do. I don't care if you run steroids, okay? You're not. There's 0% chance. But will you be in a much, much better place than you will be if you don't do this program? I'm willing to bet my life on that. Yeah, 100%. Okay, I tested this the other day on 20 millimeter crimps. On one hand, I pulled 160 pounds, that 133 body weight. Is that pretty good or question mark? That's pretty damn good. That's real good. I also do weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. 3 45-pound plates for 3 reps is my max for dips, and 2 45-pound plates for 5 is my max on pull-ups. Yeah, that's pretty good. You're strong. You could be stronger, 100%, but you're strong. that's very good. So, Night King, I'm curious, what grades do you currently climb in the gym or on the boards or outside? You can just need to answer one. Just be cool so that everyone can kind of get a perspective. But I'm gonna say your grade is anywhere between V8 and V12. That's my guess. Okay, Ola B. I trained with Lattice for 1.5 years. Are you familiar with their product? I had custom program. How would you say this is different from other coaching programs in general, if you will, or specifically Lattice? Okay, so Ola B, I did a Lattice program a long time ago. It wasn't custom. It was one of their pre-made plans because I bought a bunch of plans. I actually didn't do their custom coaching. I did a bunch of other custom coaching plans. I only did their pre-made plan because I was using it to compare to what I wanted to make my pre-made plan to. So I'll say the ways that this is different. There's a much higher emphasis on skill development and a much, much higher emphasis on injury avoidance. I'm not here to badmouth Lattice, but they do give a lot of volume, and a lot of programs bank on the fact that they're giving you a lot of load, a lot of climbing, a lot of training, and if you don't break, you will get stronger, right? It's the easiest way to make a program. I don't know what they did as a custom. I don't know how customized they get. This is not me writing a custom plan for you. That's my custom plans. This is me writing a program with a ton of customizable components in it that say, hey, I know you know yourself, okay? So pick which ones look like you will benefit the most based on what your goals are, what your strength and weakness profile is. I can't say that, it doesn't adapt. If you say like, hey dude, this one drill isn't working for me, can you change it? I don't know if your plan was the one that had the ability to change like your actual structure of program. You can't change the structure of the program beyond shifting your days and modifying based on the modification guide. You have so many ways to modify it, but you can't change the actual product that you bought, if you know what I mean, because I'm not going in there and changing your plan for you. It takes a ton of time, and for how many people are doing this, the price would have had to be so high, because it also requires conversations. Is that actually the best thing to do? We got to talk it through. Why do you want that change? And the other part of this is the custom programs with Lattice. I know you get communication. The communication and the educational components that you're going to get here are far more in depth, covering a much wider range of topics. The whole goal of the Q&As is to answer questions and educate. So there'll also be basically a hybrid of the webinars that I do and the Q&As, kind of like what I've been doing here, but I'm going to have prepared material. It's also got a full mobility track. I know they sell a mobility program separately. You get a full mobility program, both the split and high step program that's periodized throughout the full year. You also get 500 technical analysis videos. You get a dashboard where you can calculate your accumulated chronic workload ratio. Yeah, I mean, what I think a lot of you guys are going to realize when you get even just like a month into this or a couple weeks in the program is you guys made out like bandits with the price for what you're getting. A lot of people see any price that's more than like $10 a month and they're like, oh, it's so expensive. What you're getting is quite literally a forever career-changing experience with as many things that I could think of that would truly move the needle forward in terms of your experience without actually having to spend the years getting it. So I'm going to put down the microphone on that question. Okay, Wavy, I'm going to finish the amount of questions here because we are 20 minutes over, but man, I'm so sorry, Instagram. This is why you come to the Discord. But anywho, you guys are awesome. Next question, Wavy, if a climber has already read and applied the Rock Climbers Training Manual, what specifics in the BPF would produce meaningful differences? Well, reading something is very different from doing something. And the Rock Climbing Training Manual is more education. I think a very good similarity of your question is, I've already gone to college. Why do I need to train for the job? I already read all the textbooks. Why do I have to take the test? I mean, I've already read it. I've already absorbed all the knowledge I ever need. That one book was everything I'm ever going to need to learn. Nothing, no one can ever teach me anymore, and in no other way. Applied, perfect. So, and I'm really hope I'm not picking on your question. I'm just trying to like think. My brain's just trying to think of ways as to how to answer it and like break it down. But it is, you're doing. I've said this to people too. You're doing a college course while you're doing an internship, but you're also on the job. So you're doing all of it. The internship meaning you're doing this and I'm here to walk you through it. So you're on the job, but I'm guiding you like an intern would be guided by their boss. I'm not your boss. I'm just your guidance counselor, basically. So hope that answers the question. If anyone hasn't read the Rock Climbers Training Manual, oh man, I used to have it right there. Fantastic book, amazing read. I encourage you all to read as many books as you can. You're not going to get everything from me. I'm trying to give you everything, but I cannot. I just can't get your time for that long, right? I can't. And I can't force you to read everything I give you. Already, I'm giving people so much that you're going to, if you were to just every day read my program and use the dashboard, read the guides, read everything in each plan, read the FAQs, read everything that you're going to get within the the Discord channel. You'd be reading every day, like for a while. So, and we're going to keep giving you more throughout the year. That's the point of this. So yeah, just your goal should always be read as much as you possibly can, absorb as much information. I devote an hour every single day to studying and learning. It's the only way that you can ensure that you are improving in whatever it is that you want to improve at. My goal is to become the best coach possible. So every day, and business owner, those two things, they share 30 minutes. So never stop learning. Okay, sorry noob. How do we change our grade range if we find the one we selected isn't the right fit? Just reach out to me. Tell me and I will change it for you. Steph, do you think that as also people with over 25 years of climbing history and in its 40s, climbing rock punk on 7B Outdoor can still increase strength with your plan? Absolutely. 100%. If it couldn't, I wouldn't have put it out. Without a doubt. So Steph, what you need to do is look at what you've done in the past that worked, look at why it stopped working if it did, and then look at what you've been currently doing. Because if you've been at a plateau for a while, you've probably been doing the same things, same routines, or if you've been changing it up, you have the same habits or the same structure. You need to change things up, and you probably need more consistency. I'm willing to bet that it's been a consistency of high quality inputs that are forcing you to adapt in a new way. That's the only reason people don't improve is because of that. So this program changes every cycle. You have 4 different types of stimulus. They all target the highest priorities of climbers using the drills that have worked the best of all of my drills for the most amount of clients, not just the ones that have been the most effective for a few, that have the widest range across the most amount of people. So I basically just said, what is the best bet at helping the most amount of people? I put this in the plan and then organized it so everything would be symbiotic and easily to assimilate. Okay, Phil, beautiful. Eubene, could you explain the purpose of using a periodized training plan and how it differs training all qualities equally throughout the year? Also, how would the result differ between a climber who follows a structured periodized plan and a climber who simply trains consistently without specific phases or cycles? Okay, great questions. First question was, what's the purpose of using a periodized training plan and how it differs from training all qualities equally throughout the year? You could totally train all qualities equally throughout the year. The only problem is you have competing stimulus, okay? You have what's called stimulus dilution, okay? If you train power on day 1, strength on day 2, power endurance on day 3 of your training, you want to get better at all 3 of those, you only have one of each day. So if you're giving one signal one day, hey, I want you to adapt like this, body. Okay, I'll start doing that. Wait, hold on, I want you to adapt like this. Okay, wait, hold on. Same structures though, right? You just told me to adapt like this. Now we're adapting like this? All right, I guess I'll do that. Now here's something completely contradictory to both of those things. Literally, you need fatigue in your system to adapt to power endurance, but both of these things, max strength and power, you don't want any fatigue. So now we've got a non-symbiotic stimulus. But let's just say we're doing strength and power at the same time, highly symbiotic. If I wanted to improve my max strength, which is slower movements, higher force load, but now I do a power day, okay, sure. That's one of each. Great. What's the prevailing stimulus here? What do I want more right now? My power ceiling is capped by my max strength. So yeah, I could be hitting this and this, but they're two different signals. Why would I want to do a period where I'm only getting a little bit of improvement in each of those and I'm not actually gaining momentum and building higher of a base for this one? And I'll move slowly up both, as opposed to I'm not going to improve my power, but I'm going to build a huge base of strength right now, and then I'll improve my power on top of this strength, because this is my new limit I can hit. Right now, my power training, if I'm training both strength and power at the same time, my power training is limited because my ceiling isn't as high as it could be. So all the training I do until I finally reach that ceiling with strength, assuming I do 2 strength days in my week, which is preferred to see reasonable adaptations, then I can start getting that higher quality power training. The other thing is the signal dilution. It's just I'm spreading myself thin. It's just like, here's a good analogy. If you were to do climbing on day 1, basketball on day 2, soccer on day 3, and then badminton on day 4, you'd get better at all those sports, maybe a little bit. You'd quickly hit a plateau because you're only doing it 1 day a week. You're not getting higher frequency, so you're just gonna, you learn this thing, then by the time it comes back around, your body has become de-recruited. It's not good at this anymore. So it needs to kind of spend the first 75% of the session just getting back to being adaptable. And I got decent at 4 things, but I didn't get great at anything. So we get really good at something, give it its full focus, don't interrupt that signal, and then we build on the next phase. Now, can the other structure work? Can you do this with 2 different things or 3 different things? Totally. Can you do it in a way very particularly that it works? Definitely. Do both of them work? Yeah. Does the periodization work, and is it used by so many different organizations, so many different sports? Does it have the most, and if you look at it, it has the greatest amount of supportive research behind it? It's really tempting to go with that. And especially because I've run it with so many people and I've gotten great results. If something's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, Peter, that's a good shout. Peter, my man. And how would the results differ between a climber who follows a structured periodization plan and a climber who simply trains consistently? Results differ. I think my question answered that. You being, if you're not satisfied with my answer and you want me to speak more to the second part, more than happy to, but I think what I said covered that. Okay, Wavy, for clarity, I mean, let's say I read it and followed it for a year. It's been put into action, not just education. Okay, let me go back up to your question. Wavy had asked if it has already read and applied the Rock Climbers Training Manual. Good eye, you did say applied. That's why you said applied. What specifics in the BPF would produce meaningful differences? So, it is different training. I think it's much more intimate in the fact that you get so much more support. It speaks more to the skill aspects. It speaks more to the intention of the sessions themselves. Not to say that the Rock Climbing Training Manual doesn't. It's just, or did you say Rock Prodigy? Training Manual, yeah. It's both are great, dude. I think that you just have to do a lot more work on your end when you do the training manual, and it's not a continuous interaction with the program. You also don't get any of the bonuses, and you don't get the tracking system, unless you're doing this all yourself and you've already built up the. Here's the other thing, Wavy. I'm just gonna be honest with you, dude. If you read the rock climbing training manual, rock climbers training manual, and you're getting great results with what you're applying, dude, don't bail. Don't bail. Don't just jump into my program because it looks great. Okay? I might run this in the future. If you've run your full program, you got great results, and you want to try mine, then go for it. Don't stop doing something that's working really well. If it's not working really well, or it's just a lot of work, and you don't want to do that work, and this is very similar, hop on. You know, it's your choice, but if you've got something that's working really well, do not just abandon ship and start doing mine because I'm good at talking and because the program looks sick. It is sick. It's incredible. But I don't care if you're just, somebody asked, what if I'm just randomly climbing? If you're just randomly climbing and what you're doing is getting great results, awesome. I would look at what is actually doing it, because if you're just getting on the boards every day and just going as hard as you can on the boards, there's no real direction, you're just pulling up new boulders and trying them, then it's probably not the thing you're doing in training. It's probably all the habits, your recovery, what you're eating, your focus. That's what's moving you forward. If you had a better system, your 1 grade improvement per year could probably turn into 2 or 3. So that's another part of this. You could be getting better results, but if you're getting very good results, do not just bail. Because then you're just going to stop the momentum you're building, and you're probably, if you're following the system, you're on something that's got a full track throughout the year. So hope that answered it. I'm losing my voice, guys. I need to start following Sam's advice. Yeah, my voice is shot. Okay. I do V11 max boards. Okay, but I've been climbing for 6 months, so I feel my strength overcompensates. My guy, you've been climbing 6 months, you're climbing V11 on the boards? What's up, dude? See, so I don't know if you guys saw my post about the 2 climbers. One climbs V6, the other climbs V10 in 3 years. And then everyone was like, no one climbs V10 in 3 years. The amount of people like you, dude, that are out there is incredible. And especially now when the ceiling's V17, boards are everywhere, good information's out there. Dude, I would say sooner than later, get on a program like this, because you are getting wound tight, and it's people like you, which it's great. You need to start focusing on technique, which this program is going to be perfect for. And you need to take I would just like, when you, it's kind of like when you're in a casino and you're hot. And you got in, and people are at the other tables losing money, and you're throwing just 7s over and over at the craps table. You've made 100K. I'm on fire. You're gonna get psyched, cocky, or you're just gonna be a little risky. You're gonna put it all in. You might lose 50 of it. So I would say take your 100K, walk away, and put that 100K in an index fund for a bit, and don't blow a pulley out, because your connective tissue is still adapting. Your muscles and your mechanical advantage, the way that you're designed, is great. You have an incredible future if you don't get hurt. Okay. Yeah, he might be the best of all time. Okay. I have nationals in a month. Should I wait to focus on capacity afterwards? Emmett, yes. Do not do this plan before nationals, bro. Come on. No, do not do it. You will, no. Definitely buy the plan, set your start date for like a week after nationals. Okay. Thanks for the time. Of course. Do you have any studies, papers, or book recommendations where I can read more about the evidence behind periodized training and its benefits compared to a more general training approach? Oh man. Yeah, if you are on academia, that's where I like to go for all of my research papers and publications. I would go on academia and just type in periodization studies and cross-examinations against other periodized or just structures for resistance training is probably going to be your best bet. Or sports, just like sports training across a long time horizon. You got a bunch of keywords you can type. I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking about how my voice hurts. Okay, Peter, the secret wheeler bro, third wheeler bro. Yeah, it could be. There is a third wheeler brother. His name's Eli, and Yeah, he's the man. I love Eli. All right, guys. That's all the time I have for right now. I got to go gurgle some salt water and down some honey so my voice heals. But this was a great hour and a half, hour and 36-minute long Q&A. I will see you guys if you want to come back at 7 p.m. I'll be popping in 7 p.m. EST. I'll be answering more questions. This was great. I got to see all hopefully my European friends and my international climbers. So, of course, guys. Yes, Case. And Case, you're going to have this time slot for the whole year, right? I made a new time slot, 1 p.m. for you guys for the whole year for BPF. So I will be doing 2 Q&As through the whole year. And you're more than welcome to come to both, but I'd also rather you go to sleep. So big ups from Denmark. Dude, I've been to Denmark. Great. You got a great country there. All right, guys. Deuces. I'm going to sign off. And the